Okay, so we're gonna divert a little bit from my usual sewing content on this channel and talk about hairstyles. So I just finished making Cinderella's day dress and we were doing the photo shoot and I was trying to decide what hairstyle to do during the shoot and I ended up just quickly throwing something together. But I wanted to do this video and I've actually wanted to explore the hairstyles of Cinderella in her everyday life for quite some time. I gathered the pictures and all that years ago and was gonna turn it into a blog post, but that never happened. So I'm just gonna attempt to do some hairstyles that we see Ella wear in her everyday life. I've already done a hairstyle video about her ball gown look because I made the ball gown also. So I think a really unique part about the hairstyles we see her wearing is the fact that they look very realistic to what she's doing. So they're just kind of easy hairstyles. We also see them become more and more messy as she becomes more of a servant than a sister throughout the film. As a disclaimer, I am not that great at hair. I manage and make do for most of my shoots. But anyway, we're gonna look at a few different styles and we're just gonna get started. But first of all, I've got to get some curly hair because I have straight hair and Ella has curly hair. So here we've got curly hair now, and it's time to start on the first hairstyle, which is the one that she wears when she meets her stepmother and stepsisters for the first time. From what I can tell of this hairstyle, it's two braids on the side of her head, and then on one side, the braid is pinned back with a butterfly, but other than that, it's just two one-sided French braids. I don't have very thick hair, and so sometimes it can be hard to get that thick braid that she's got going on, but I'm just gonna try my best. I'm gonna use about this much of my hair. So I'm just doing a one-sided French braid, which means I'm only grabbing from one side, and the side I'm grabbing from is my face side. So I'm not grabbing from back here. And also I'm just gonna try to do it more loose so that there's an appearance of a larger braid. Okay, so this is the side that does not have the butterfly. I don't want it to flop like that. So I'm just gonna pull it back like so and pin it loosely in place. Kind of gives the appearance. My braid is very tiny compared to hers, but now I'm just gonna do the same thing on the second side. So on this other side is where the butterfly is pretty dramatically pulling it back against her head, pulling it pretty tight, and then I've got the butterfly. It's not a perfect butterfly. Hers is like almost like plastery looking or clay, but that's just one that I made for my ball gown when I made it, and it's extra, so it'll do. Needed to pull it back just a little bit more. There we go. So the next hairstyle that we're going to do is the one that she does when the stepsisters are doing their art, which is playing the piano and singing, and it's just quite sad. Basically the same thing as far as the two braids, but it does appear that it's a regular French braid, so hair is taken from both sides of the braid, and then the braids continue around and sort of create a crown against the lower part of Ella's head. So, two braids, but regular French braids. About here, around right behind my ear, I'm gonna stop taking more hair. Now the back of her hair is pretty poofy. I mean, not crazy, but it's definitely got some volume to it, and it's also pretty smooth. So I'm just gonna create a little bit of tease. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of pin this in place, just at the base of my head. And this is where the braids are gonna be pinned. Okay, so at the back, I'm pretty sure the braids are just crisscrossed. So my braids got a little wonky here. They're just a little bit loose. I'm just gonna tidy them up a little bit. Let's take a quick minute to talk about Brevity. This is definitely going to be a great travel backpack for me. It's easy, it's slim, it's lightweight. Be sure to go to brevity.co/BellaMazeDesigns and pick a fun backpack for your next travel or photo shoots or anything that you might have. Now for a hairstyle that you briefly see when Lady Tremaine dismisses the household after the father's death. I'm pretty sure it's just a very loose braid kind of thing. This is also the hairstyle that I'm pretty sure she has when you see her carrying the water buckets in that promo photo. If you look at deleted scenes, this is kind of around the same time. So I'm gonna pull my top hair about just above my ears all the way back. Now, at that end, her hair is actually not all tied up in the ribbon. It's just like maybe the top section is braided, but I'm just gonna slightly separate my hair and then just tie the ribbon about around this section. No. Bingley, no. Meet Bingley, the new kitty in the house. She's very, very playful. So I think that looks pretty good. I feel like my braid is even a little too defined for it. Now we're going to talk about that other hairstyle, which kind of looks like it's a braid like this one, but it's not, I'm pretty sure. It's kind of an odd one. I can't quite figure out what's happening, but it kind of just looks like it's very loosely like crisscrossed. It's the one that she wears towards the end of the film when Prince Kit finally finds her. We're just gonna give this a go and see what happens. But I'm just going to take sections of hair and loosely pull it around about to my other side and loosely pin it in place. And then take from this side and do a similar thing, crisscrossing it. And then it starts pretty low on her head, so I'm just starting there. And then, yeah, just doing a crisscrossy, very loose motion of crisscross, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my idea of how it's working. I'm not sure if it's entirely correct, but you're just kind of getting that loose look, but being pulled back. I think it does the trick as far as just loosely looking like it. Moving on to the last hairstyle, and that's the one that she wears when she meets Prince Kit in the forest. And honestly, this is the messiest one that she has. I literally think it's a bun that's kind of tied in and of itself. And then of course it's got a ribbony gauze thing. This is some silk gauze that I dunked in some instant coffee to make it slightly more tan because hers is off-white and kind of dirty looking. And so I did that with coffee. I'm gonna take my top portion of my hair, so about that much, and I am just gonna loosely twirl it like I would do a bun. Do a bun. Start it a little lower on your head. And then this end, I'm going to feed into the middle of it. So, got my twist, and I'm feeding the tail in there. Because you can kind of see a tail coming out of the bun that she's got going on. But to keep it all in place, I'm gonna use some bobby pins because it's not gonna stay on its own. Of course, I do not have as much hair, so it's gonna be a very tiny bun comparatively. But then we've got this, and I think both ends sit like under the bun, like versus it's not all the way against her neck, it's on top of her other hair. At least that's what it looks like. So my bun is kind of falling apart. So, let's try to fix that. There we have it. It's definitely not quite my style because it's so thrown together and messy, but it's a look that she has, and it's messy in the film too, so there you go. And that wraps up this video of hairstyles. Hope you enjoyed, and maybe you got some inspiration to try some of these hairstyles in your everyday life, because they're definitely hairstyles that you can quickly do. So thank you for watching and putting up with my hairstyling skills, and I will see you soon with the finished Cinderella work dress video.